Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Newsells Park Stud on behalf of Graeme Smith Bernal and his family, who very kindly had us here tonight for the first ever, and hopefully the first of many, no pressure, Graeme, Fitzdares Royal Ascot preview evenings. And this, of course, is the Friday edition of the Nick Luck Daily podcast as well. I'm delighted to say thank you very much, the first live audience, and thank you to Will Woodhams, the CEO of Fitzdares, for all his support for so many years now. Graeme, thank you all so much for welcoming us here to Newsells Park, a venture that you entered into 3 years ago now. How much are you loving it, enjoying it, regretting it, ruining it? I'm not sure what.
I think the bulk of the time it's fantastic. We're having a wonderful time, so much so that we've sold up in Esher and we're going to be moving here. So yeah, it's all going very well, and we just couldn't be happier here. And the family loves coming here, seeing the horses. This time of the year, of course, we've got the mares and foals on the ground, and we've got our wonderful stallions coming to the end of their season. And it's third year, so it's gone so fast. It really has.
This is not a dip of the toe in the water, is it? You have gone hard, really hard. It's in your heart, your soul, everything now. You're fully invested in racing and breeding the best horses that you can find.
I think that's a thing. It was a big. I mean, I've gone from 3-4 brood mares and a few race horses straight into buying one of the leading commercial stud farms in Europe. So. It's definitely hook, line, and sinker, and so in for a penny and all the rest of it. But I don't regret it for one moment. I mean, I think it is a very successful commercial stud farm. We have an amazing team. I think one of the things when I bought the place was, as part of the experience of being a client, I got to actually do the due diligence on the place, in terms of the level of service, and it really is, they really do deliver. And of course, we've been top the sales the last 6 years, 8 of the last 9, book 1, and it is a commercial venture, and stuck very much to our core focus of aiming to breed the best. But we've also then diversified a bit. We've created 1 or 2 race syndicates. More recently this year, we've launched our first bloodstock syndicate, which is a hybrid mix of breeding racehorses and a couple of top brood mares. So it gives people the full spectrum of the experience, the equine experience, if you like. So,
I mean, how much pleasure is it giving you then to share? It's not just yours. It's you want to share this with everybody. You're an evangelist for this whole thing.
I wouldn't know about evangelist. It's interesting. We own a place in Italy that was visited by St. Francis of Assisi, which was he was very much an evangelist. But the I think this place goes all the way back to the Domesday Book, and bred horses like Parthia that won the Derby in 1959. It has an incredible history. We see ourselves very much as just custodians of this place in this particular passage of time, and looking to reinforce its position in the market. We will stay very focused on being a commercial stud farm, and but it is, for me, it's about sharing. I mean, the best. It is a numbers game, breeding horses. So things like the bloodstock syndicate, it's about spreading the investment, spreading the risk. But 75% of all of our gross profits come from breeding. So it's effectively sharing and giving people an opportunity to come into that world.
And I think quite a few of you here today have been on the Newsells tour. Has everybody enjoyed the experience today? Yeah. I'm sure about as good as it gets. And an inspired partnership between Newsells and Fitzdares, Will, to have this first Royal Ascot preview here.
Well, there are 3 things that make the world go round: wine, horse racing, and sex. And you've got buckets of it here, Graeme. So I'm over the moon to be here. Go on, sorry.
I said we didn't get to see Nathaniel in action when it comes to the last.
But I imagined it, and it was spectacular. And I've seen it 170 times in my head, which is about as many times as he has. But broadcast.
That's a year.
Yeah, broadcasters and bookies have one role, which is to be nice to people they don't like. And Graeme is the most likeable character and passionate, and what he's doing here is phenomenal. And he's the best in the world at it. So it's really exciting to be here. So we're over the moon.
I would say my team are the best in the world at it. I really know nothing, as Manuel would say.
Famously, all rich people are modest, which is why I'm so confident.
I can't let you go without reminding everybody that Newsells Park, once again, winner of the Thoroughbred Industry Awards Employee of the Year, David Porter Mackerel, brilliantly popular winner.
And I think
And I know how proud you are
I'm
of
not
him.
sure, is David here tonight? He's not, but I mean, it's a wonderful reflection of, and he is an icon, within, as a stallion man. I mean, he's just irreplaceable in so many ways. He's done an amazing job. I know Julian thinks the world of him, and we all do. And it's been wonderful for the start, a wonderful reflection of our success and our achievement. And of course, the lovely thing about that particular prize is, he gets recognition, but the whole stud gets recognition as well, because they all get a little bit of money as a result, which is great. So.
Cat's, I think, thinking of going now. He's just heard that the good bit's over. And,
I'll see with anyway. Right.
No cat jokes.
No,
Graeme, thank you very much for having us this evening.
Nick, nice to
It's
see
a
you.
beautiful place.
And actually, thank you, Nick. Quite busy generally.
Genuinely, we are all in your debt tonight, Graeme. Will, thank you very much for supporting the evening. Hopefully, it'll be the first of many. Will Woodhams, Graeme Smith for now, ladies and gents. All right, our panel this evening. Our panel this evening need no introduction, so they're not going to get one. They simply are John Gosden, George Scott, and Charlie Fellows, ladies and gentlemen. Please give them a warm round of applause. I promised that this would be light, tight, and bright, so no massively overblown introductions. Apologies, gentlemen. But good to see you. You just made a big old man noise there, Charlie.
I played cricket last night. I'm a little bit stiff.
How did you get on?
We did all right, actually. The trainers 11 absolutely battered Godolphin, which is no mean feat.
You're a bowler?
Bowler.
Yeah, nice, tall, fast bowler.
Yeah.
And taking wickets?
I actually didn't get any wickets.
You throw it.
Sorry?
You throw it. You bend your arm.
You're calling him a chucker?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
it's
bend
getting
his
nasty
arm.
already.
Slightly suspect action, John.
Like Muralithra.
Yes. No, but someone dropped an absolute dolly of a catch off my bowling. So
That wasn't him, was it?
No.
good.
No.
That's otherwise engaged, John.
All right, Royal Ascot, gentlemen. We don't know what the weather's going to do. We do roughly now know what we're running. We've got some wonderful races. We're not going to go through every horse, every race, but we are trying to give you as much good advice as we possibly can. So we may as well just dive straight into it. John, day one, first day, all eyes are on you because you got a big fancy in the first race, or have you, in Spiral? What's happening?
He obviously was warming me up
There
beforehand.
we go. Straight
Come on.
in.
I think the most important thing I'll tell you right now is people are standing. They're only going to take so much. They're only going to stand so much of us. Okay?
No, I get it.
And they might need a refill too. So. Okay.
Refill
Queen
for Mr.
Anne
Gosden
Stakes.
already, please.
Queen Anne Stakes.
Is the
Yeah,
only
audience. Yeah, it's the only question. And we can all go. No, we can't. Audience will run, all being well. Yeah, and Rab will be riding him. No final decision yet on In Spiral. It will be taken in the morning. Chris is going to talk to Mrs. Thompson and Richard Thompson, and we go through the whole thing. We are, if you want to know, don't run out and get the 14-1, please. But we are leaning towards the Prince of Wales. Okay, I can say that clearly, and that is probably the direction we go, but it does need confirmation in the morning.
Dan, I can see you texting.
Yeah.
Stop it now, come on. Chatham House rules this evening. Obviously not when this goes out on the Nick Luck Daily tomorrow, by which time they'll all get knocked over. But that's the way you lean. She kind of looked like a mile and a quarter filly now, doesn't she?
Well, in fairness to her, she's a Frankel, and I trained the mother, and the mother, she was a talented filly, and the family does have middle distance. And when she went to California, and I know you run downhill, you cross the main track at Santa Anita, and it's fast, very fast, mile and a quarter on quick ground. But she flew at the finish, and then Lanfranco Dottore had a little trouble pulling her up down the back straight. Little things like that are hints that you should take. So I would say we're leaning that way, not decided yet.
And actually, is Audience... was it a fluke in the Lockinge?
No, he's a very talented horse. He was set in the city of York. He was second in that. He's a grand horse in his own right. He doesn't have to make the running. I think they probably expect him to do it if he runs on Tuesday, and he might just sit off them. So he can be ridden anyway.
What's going to happen at Big Rock, George? This is the all or bust horse, isn't it, for Marita Guarnieri and Jaguada Centurion? I mean, I'm not sure how they arranged this whole moving from one trainer to the other thing and how this is all going to pan out, but it was a big call, and it might work, might not.
Well, it's put huge pressure on the horse, hasn't it? Really, as we saw, it didn't really pan out the way they'd like in the Lockinge, but it was a quick change of stable. And as we discussed earlier, his trainers come out very vocally and blame the jockey for that. So he's got to turn it around, hasn't he? But he'd be looking for some of this weekend rain to be hanging around for sure. I think if the ground. If we start on fastish ground, he's probably got it all to do, hasn't he? But he's a super talented horse, but changing everything so late on is obviously going to be to his detriment.
A freaky performance in the QE2, John, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we were running in that.
Yes.
And it was very interesting. It was very deep. But a very interesting thing at Deauville, Frankie had his last ride and signed his peg as he left, and everyone bowed. But the jockey was being absolutely hammered by the trainer. It's not something one believes in, because they said in the Jacques Marois he didn't go fast enough.
Oh, so the then trainer, Christopher
The
Hare,
then trainer
was
laid into
bollocking
his
the
poor
then
jockey.
jockey
He's like
Aurélien
a punch-drunk
Lemaitre.
boxer, I should think, by now.
Well, the good news, the only one of them that's still standing
Yeah.
is the horse. The trainer's been sacked, the jockey's been sacked.
Yeah, he was ripped the strip off and not going quick enough. And one thing when he got to Ascot, did he go quick enough?
Yeah.
Well, he went down the high street and back and gone.
Oh my word, Charlie! Is there anything against the obvious in this race? Do you think?
I mean, it's not obvious because
Well, actually, who's going to start favourite if Inspiral doesn't run?
I think Charon will start favourite.
Yeah.
He ran a cracker in the Lockinge. He was the only horse to make up any ground and give
I agree
audience a bit of
I
a
agree
run.
with you totally. Yeah.
I do think that the horse Facteur Cheval is very interesting as well. Those two are worthy favourites if Inspiral doesn't run. But I thought Charon ran a blinder in the Lockinge and is very interesting.
I mean, if there was ever a race to sell racing on the first day, it's the St James's Palace Stakes. You've got the whole lot, haven't you? You've got this unbeaten Godolphin superstar who won the Guineas, notable speech. You've got the horse who was the runner-up who we thought, well, nothing's going to beat him for a turn of foot except something did, Rosallion. He's come out and won the Irish Guineas. And you've got the winner of the French Guineas as well, who connections say is working the house down and is gonna run big. Plus you've got Henry Longfellow coming back for Ballydoyle, and if he does a City of Troy, then they can all stand by. So where do we even start, Charlie, with this one?
It's a belter. It's the race of the whole week. We know particularly how much Richard Hannon thinks of Rosallion. He came on our
Off the Bridle.
not quite such a big
famous
deal
podcast.
podcast.
Are you,
as your
I
podcast.
love your podcast, but you don't do it
You
often
don't have
enough.
to say that. We don't do it long enough. He's very busy.
It's hard to get Charlie in a
You
room.
always say that. Whenever I say that, you think I'm taking the piss, but I'm not.
Well, I never know with you.
Yeah,
Boys.
we do it sort of quarterly, but we had Richard on, and I mean, Richard is obviously he's a very proper enthusiast, but I've never heard him so enthusiastic about a horse, and obviously he's looking forward to the rematch. But they really all have it to do, don't they, with notable speech, and I appreciate William is thinking about the horse's long-term future, but for him to say on camera the other day that he hadn't had a feeling of a horse like that. Sorry, John. I've read a few of yours, didn't I?
Don't worry, I won't take it at heart.
He said.
You could see him think about that halfway through what he was saying. He's like, oh, yeah.
But he came out unbelievably positively about the horse, and he has to be the sort of pin-up boy of the meeting, doesn't he? Notable speech.
I think so. It's really hard to see
I
how.
watched him in his 2 races in the winter, and William was flying back all the time from Dubai. He didn't stay in Dubai, came back. And they ran this horse at Kempton, 2-3 times. And I noticed he dropped him out, fiddled around, and he was schooling him, coming between horses. He didn't take the easy route, go around the outside or wait for the cutaway. And he was schooling this horse, knowing what they got. Now, obviously, he had a little issue last year. They couldn't run him, but they knew he was good. And then you look at his physique, and he came into the paddock. Pwah.
Be honest with me. Did you fancy him in the Guineas?
Well, funny, I stood with Willie Carson, and Willie said, City of Troy, I can't have him. He looks dreadful. Willie changed his mind at Epsom, I hasten to add. In the paddock beforehand.
In the paddock.
Yeah,
but that's
beforehand.
not before he'd done the
But he
two-page
couldn't
spread of
have
the
it.
racing road.
I mean, me and a lovely guy from Calico, we just fell in love with this chestnut horse walking around. He is a beauty. And if you see him go into a boxing ring as a middleweight, he'd kill anyone. Yeah. No, he's something special. So look, it's the race of the meeting. Don't tell us we all have to go home at the end of Tuesday. There's a bit more to go.
Have you got anything that could? Have you got something in there that could hold a candle to this lot, like a 3-year-old colt?
Good heavens, no. Mine were absolutely slow last year. No way at all. No.
But there's,
No, it's a very exciting race.
Yeah, you can. Charlie, what's going to win?
Notable speech.
Okay. Is it with notable speech all round, are we?
Yeah.
Notable speech all round. Okay.
They're on the same iPad. They ought to agree.
Yes, exactly. They're always on the same iPad. You know, the worst thing is when you two did that ridiculous thing of calling a horse after each other. Now, whenever I want to see what you're running in a race, I type in George Scott or Charlie Fellows, and it comes up with the old horse, that was God knows how many years old. It's infuriating.
I know, I have that problem as well. I keep ending up on
What,
his...
just Googling yourself all the time?
I died. Was it me that died? It was me that died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're all right. You're
No,
here.
no.
Check your pulse.
His namesake, sadly.
Yeah, passed
anyway.
away.
That'll be edited out for the pod tomorrow morning. Don't worry about that. Deary me. The first big sprint of the week, of course, is the King Charles III. Used to be called the King's Stand. Step forward, John and Thady Gosden with Crimson Advocate, a horse you must know very well, John.
Yes, she arrived 2 days ago. She's so small, we were surprised she didn't come in the hand luggage. She's a sweet little filly, won the Queen Mary last year, and then she ran Breeze Cup, and she's tiny but very genuine apparently. Hadn't raced for a long time, won in Florida the other day, and they wanted to fly her in. The trainer couldn't come with her. And so we are planning to run her at the moment, but she might tell me in the morning she doesn't want to.
I mean, do you know anything much other than
Absolutely
nothing at all?
No.
So what do you do?
I've seen films of her races.
So you just give her a little canter
Yeah,
in the
well, what do
morning.
you do?
We don't try and reinvent the wheel at this stage, no. We're just a gentle canter, and if she's happy and her blood's good and her scope's good and she's eating well and she's feeling joyful, then we run. If she's not, we won't. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this one, by the way.
See, I get why Watnan Racing would send you any amount of horses or buy any amount of horses, but I was kind of thinking when they bring a sprinter over, the first thing they think is John Gosden, that renowned trainer of sprinters.
I
know you did win this with a race.
I had 3 champion sprinters. Just as people keep sending me middle distance horses, the horses get slower and slower. And they think, how slow? Oh, Gosden, he'll deal with them. No, I like sprinters indeed, but we tend not to be sent them. I leave that to Richard Hannon and my mates.
Okay, all right. That's kind of day one, I think, pretty well done. Unless you're going to pop up and win the Coventry with a
No.
33-1 shot.
30
Ingot.
runners in the Coventry, full field, a cavalry charge of 2-year-olds. Completely mad, but it's wonderful.
But you are running one.
I am indeed at the moment, yes. He was second at Kempton. I think he'll improve, not necessarily for Ascot, but for his run at Kempton.
And of course, that's the other thing. That's the other great myth. People go, oh, well, he doesn't really train early 2-year-olds. You've had loads of Ascot 2-year-old winners.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh,
I
Dad,
won all
mate.
the 2-year-old races at Ascot, but I keep quiet about it. Yes.
Oh, is this a real one then?
We'll find out on Tuesday. What does the iPad say?
The iPad says you're 33-1 and shortening all the time. Ingot, who is owned by Jubilee Park Stud. Should we bash on and talk
We
a little
better.
bit?
People are getting tired on their feet.
They're definitely not. We'll talk about the Prince of Wales on Wednesday. We kind of talked about it with Inspiral, but who are you up against? You're up against White Birch and you're up against August Rodin.
August Rodin.
How much do you fear August Rodin? Do you think he'll take a big step forward, Aiden
No,
style?
I always fear the opposition. The day you don't take any opposition in football or in our game seriously is the day you slip on the banana skin. So I always have a lot of respect for the opposition. You try to work out what their strengths are, you try to work out what their weaknesses are, and then you try and play between the two. Simple as that. It's no different than being a football manager.
All right. So what's your most potent weapon in here that the others don't possess?
Well, hopefully you got the best horse. That does help. I think in this race they'll go hard. I think they'll use pace to go forward. Continuous is in there. They're going to make it a real test of 1.25 miles, simply because August Rodin is obviously comfortable over 1.5 miles. So to that extent, it'll be an end-to-end gallop. And if we run that filly there, we'll drop out, take our time. And meanwhile, a veteran of 8 years old, talking of old horses, Lord North, he'll be turning up as well, just to check that Ascot still exists.
He was pretty good in this a few years ago.
He won it, yes, he did, and he found the ground far too firm in Dubai. They call it good. It was good to like this ground, the floor here, and he'll run a big race, and then he might go into glorious retirement.
Okay, George.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Augustus Rodin, you never quite know who's going to turn up, do you? I know he's becoming a little bit hit and miss, but he's a very good horse on this day. But interesting, I thought they were going to run continuous in the Hardwick. So it looks like they might have had a slight change of plan there and used Luxembourg. But I think everyone wants to see Inspiral over 10 again. You know, she She looked incredible that day.
Thank you.
Do you? Would your
Well,
preference
I
be
do.
10?
We don't want that 14 to 1 to disappear before we get to our phones.
I think you've given everyone. I think you've given everyone a steer there.
I'm just hang on. I'm just looking across the odds checker price box here.
You've been given.
Bear 365 14, Sky Bet 14, Hills 14, Ladbrokes 14, Fitzdares 5-2. Extraordinary. I don't know how this has happened.
So it would be a great dust up, wouldn't it, if she was in there? Because without her in there, obviously you've got a huge respect for White Birch, but again, he's quite ground dependent, isn't he? Without her in there, and if it's fast ground, it looks his to lose.
I don't think White Birch was a fluky winner in Ireland at all. The time was really good. He's improved.
He's really smart.
He's good
If he
horse,
was
isn't
trained by Aiden, what price would he be?
Is that the
2
old
to 1.
Same price.
I think he'd be
Aunt,
shorter.
isn't that the old
Much
aunt?
shorter,
Isn't
yeah.
that the old Aunt Bull's uncle thing though?
Possibly.
Isn't it?
But, I mean, he's a proper horse.
No, yes.
He beat August Rodin fair and square last
He
time.
deserves to be favourite.
Yeah,
White Birch, in which case
Yeah.
5-2 is too big a price.
I
Isn't it?
think so.
They're off again.
They're off again. Yeah. Again, 7-4 now with Fitzdares.
Yeah.
There's no way Inspire will be that price on the day if she lines up. She's going to be right in the mix on the, just behind the front two in the market.
I feel like I've dropped the ball big time already because when we were talking about the King Charles III Stakes on the first day, I got all kind of, wrapped up in the whole fun of John training this horse he'd had for 2
I
days.
was just happy to let that roll.
And of course we've got runners everywhere. We got runners all over the place. It's all right. It's there, and I don't even have an earpiece in to remind me. Charlie, first of all, you've got the dream
Needs rain
and a lot of it.
and a lot of it. She'll
But
run
she'll
whatever.
definitely run in the 5.
She'll run, definitely, yeah.
Definitely the 5.
Yes,
Come what may.
yes.
What's your thinking?
She's run 2 big races over 5 so far this year. I have no idea what happened at Haydock. She just had an off day. She scoped clean afterwards and trotted up good as gold. Fillies, they can have an off day every now and again, especially
They can
when
at
it's like
Haydock.
that.
Weird ground often
Yeah.
there.
And are you in the 5 as well?
Yeah, we're in the 5. Yeah,
He's in big
we
time.
supplemented.
You supplemented
Yeah.
what, yesterday?
Pressure on.
Yeah. We supplemented for the King Charles. Yeah,
What- so
7
what are you-
questions.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
Well, he's only in the 5, so he'll run there, and he obviously won the Palace House. Who's got a bit bogged down at Haydock.
Beating the dream in the Palace House.
Beating the
Yeah.
dream.
Thank you, Nick.
Narrowly.
Then beat her at Haydock as well.
Yeah.
And he's obviously clearly a talented horse on his day. He's got some good form at 2. He's a little bit unlucky, and in an open race, we felt it was worth taking the chance, and it's going to be nice that His Highness Sheikh Nasser will be attending, and he's a talented horse, but he's quirky. We've had to put a huge amount of preparation into ponies and this and stabling at Kempton and in and out, but it's as I think I said earlier in the week, there's no Australian sort of super horse, and doesn't look like sort of, I would say there's no Blue Point, and then Mick Appleby's horses hasn't
Big
done
X
much
could
on,
be.
has he?
Big X
So
could be.
yeah,
he
he
has
could
the
be.
potential to be an absolute star. We'll find out next week.
Yeah.
So
So
have I rescued myself from the embarrassment of not mentioning these
Beautifully,
horses
beautifully.
when I should have done? Sorry.
John's wondering what we're talking about.
I tell you one thing in that race: don't miss the break.
Okay. He'll try not to. 7 questions will be all right.
He'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
He's just last year he tried to run in the Coventry, and he nearly killed about 8 people on his way to start, and probably
You
got
have had
withdrawn.
some job with that one.
We've luckily
Who owns him?
Sheikh Nasser, victorious.
Is he understanding?
He does. He's been great, but he has been gelded, and he's grown up a lot this year. So we'll see.
Okay.
Amazing how it improves the male.
Right. Let's talk about the Gold Cup. Should we talk about the Gold Cup?
Yeah.
Let's do that. This is a race which, according to the market, is Kyprios' done and dusted. He was a shade of odds on in a place today. George, is it as simple as that? Do you think it's as straightforward as Kyprios now back to his best, does what he does and wins?
Well, we're gonna run Pridwin in the race.
I saw that 66-1.
Yeah, I mean, he's run 3 career bests in a row. He's in a kind of awkward rating at 108, and the owners are very, very special people who've had horses in training a long time, and like me, they feel like it's the most prestigious race of the week, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to have a runner. So we're going to have a go, and he will go forward and at least make it a nice even pace. And he's by Camelot, and he's not a bad horse, so he deserves to take his chance. But John has probably a better understanding of the look of the race, but Kyprios probably the way he's gone about things, and being relatively lightly raced against a bunch of more exposed age-wise horses, probably looks a horse that's going to be very, very hard to beat, and will be a lot of people's banker through the week, I would thought.
I suppose he will, but he's as I said, he's a shade of odds on in a place. It looks a bit more contentious than that to me, John. Are you going to run 3? Are you going to run Gregory, Trawlerman, Sweet William?
Baldrick has a plan.
Baldrick has a plan. So
Yeah.
what is Baldrick's plan?
Well, I've suffered being boxed in for years by 6 or 7 of Aiden's in the race. I thought with 3 against his 1, we can actually just lock him against the rail and never let him see any daylight. That's Baldrick's plan, not to be printed or published, by the way. That they're in great form. He's going forward. We got 1 go forward with him, be an even pace. Kiprios is proven over the trip. He's an interesting horse. He knew where the stables were when he ran in the Cadra. So he's interesting. Is he beatable? Of course, they're all beatable. But we're gonna have a right old crack at it. Yeah, he pulled himself up. But Ryan won't let him hit the front too soon this time. He went too soon. And then Frankie Wayne came and nailed him late. So as far as I'm concerned, fascinating race. The one thing I was just saying earlier to someone, is a marvellous race because you could see them start, go and have a cup of tea, come back, and the intrigue is still going on, 2.5 miles. But look, hopefully we'll run all 3. They're in good form. Hope we run well. And you'll help me with my Baldrick plan.
Go on,
Now your 3 is a 4, John.
who's the classiest of your 3?
Huh?
Who's the classiest?
I thought
Gregory's the classiest.
He probably is, yeah.
And he
But
looks.
Trawlerman is not to be underestimated. He's in the form of his life.
You like him, don't you? I was talking to
Well,
your jockey. He
when they
likes
live
him
with
too.
you for that long, you fall in love with them.
Yeah.
You really do. They become part of your family. Yeah.
Okay, and he ran well in Dubai.
We are
on very
allowed to
firm
be
ground.
sort of quite like
Fond of
that, Well,
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, and Gregory and Trawlerman both golden horns, aren't they?
Yeah, and Sweet William is a very talented horse.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be there. He'll be there at the end. He would just have a look at the others when he gets there, though. That's his favourite game. How are you doing, mate? I'm all right. All right, I'll have a go. No, you have a go. It's one of those.
Obviously, you need a big heart to win this race, Charlie. Who would you like to train for this?
Do you know what? I don't know about wanting to train, but at a price, Coltrane is a massive price, isn't he?
He won the Cigaro.
He was
He
second
was
in
second
this last year.
and he won the Cigaro.
He always turns up.
16
doesn't
to 1. It's an enormous
he is
price.
rock solid.
Yeah.
I agree.
So if I was having a bet in the race, he'd be the one I'd bet each way. I think he's a huge price for a horse that's in good order. Ran very well last time out. Ran very well in the race last year. And is a star. He turns up nearly every time.
But he won't join my Baldrick plan.
And of course, Aiden could run Point Lonsdale as well, which could scupper your Baldrick plan completely.
Listen. I won't say anything.
John's horse is obviously
No.
always to be respected. But so it's Gregory or Trawlerman, but maybe Sweet William. That's pretty much the way you came down.
Look, if we all finish in a line together, our slot will be very happy.
Okay, good stuff. Pridwin there at the end.
Yeah.
That's the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
We've got to move on now.
That's the Gold Cup. We're moving on to
People are
Friday.
gonna collapse in a minute.
I know. I think we're doing pretty well, to be honest. I think we're rattling on. You haven't been to a Cheltenham Festival preview, have you?
No.
Don't, would be my advice. What do you want to do first, Coronation Stakes or the Commonwealth Cup? I think the Coronation Stakes is it's another cracking 3-year-old race, isn't it? It's all the Guineas form colliding, and everybody wants to be with the horse who was beaten in the Irish Guineas Opera Singer or her conqueror Fallen Angel. Nobody seems to remember that El Malka won the Guineas in Newmarket off virtually no preparation. Is she the slightly forgotten filly, George?
Well, she is certainly at the prices. I mean, it was a funny race, the Guineas, wasn't it? The girls' race, because there were a lot of hard luck stories, and I think as a result, it probably took away slightly from her performance. But she looked a little bit green, a little bit. She rocked around on the track a bit, but finished well. But yeah, look, it's going to be all about opinions here, isn't it? Fallen Angel bounced back to form, and Ramachuel came in for his jockey. Her jockey came in for a little bit of criticism, just track knowledge, and I see they've replaced him, haven't they?
Did he go a bit early, didn't he?
Poor old Aurélien Lemaitre. I mean, he's had a shocking season, hasn't he? He's a good rider, and he's just been unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say woulda, coulda, woulda.
Steve Murphy's riding.
He is. He takes over, and different type of track, flat track, might well be that. She looked a little unlucky on the day. What did you think, John?
He went a bit early.
He went a bit early.
Yeah, but mind you, with the ridges of the dip of Newmarket, you're better going early than late. It's not an easy track to ride, and we won't go into detail.
Well, that's why Roger's filly probably deserves a little bit more
Credit than
credit.
she got.
Yeah.
It's just been a weird year. We've all been out in the wet and the cold and the north winds and all this kind of stuff. It's weird. A lot of the fillies, they're going through a lot in the spring. They're fillies. They're obviously meant everything else is happening. They're sort of coming in season, out of season, and they found it difficult. So you could see the filly form might not really settle until well into the late June, July.
So you don't look at this group and think, well, actually, there's one that stands out on just
No,
is better.
I think there's some lovely fillies, but you could get a shock. Yeah, it's quite possible. I think for the fillies, it's been really difficult this year. And ask Julian with the mares, it's not been easy.
I think he's left. No, he's still there. He's just found a seat. He found a seat, Julian Dollar.
It's not easy. Not easy when you get this kind of weather we got.
Charlie, you having a bet here?
I love Ramachoi. I think she ran an absolute screamer in the Guineas, considering how far they went out. She's tiny. I don't know if you saw her. She stayed in our yard the night before, and she is absolutely minuscule, but she is tough as anything. And I wouldn't be surprised they ride her a little bit more patiently. Asheen on board, she, for me, is the one to beat.
Very stiff mile too.
It is. But is she going to get a stiff mile?
That's the issue.
That's the issue.
Do we not need to mention Yilang?
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
Is she an intended runner?
Is she going to run here? Would she run in the Ribblesdale? What's the...
She's injured.
She's injured. She pulled muscles off her rib cage, didn't she? So she's not going to be ready in time, no? No. Okay. So no, we don't. But well asked, though. And we've got the breeders in the room to tell us. So that is the Coronation Stakes, the Commonwealth Cup. For a 3-year-old only sprint, it looks a serious race this year. You come into this season thinking, well, Van Dijk, the champion sprinting 2-year-old, he's just going to turn up and it'll be a formality. Of course, he was beaten at Haydock. The Crisfords think he'll improve, but he was also beaten by a very good horse with an enormous pedigree in Sharon, whose owner also has elite status in the race. If Sheikh Mohammed Abeid doesn't win this race, Charlie, you can start the ignition on the horse boxes, can't you?
I've got to admit, I'm quite surprised Inish Sheeran isn't favourite. He was unbelievably impressive.
And Haydock.
Yeah. And I know Van Dijk, first run of the season, you can definitely 100% forgive that, and he was an exceptional horse last year.
You're obviously not going to the gym with Ed Crisford tomorrow, so you'll be listening in and getting very upset with you.
Hopefully, I think I am.
We all go to the gym, Ed Crisford and Charlie and I, and end up arguing about these types of things. We have
What
been,
classes do you do? Do you spin together or?
only on a Tuesday, Nick.
No, he's dropped out.
Yeah, I'm on a different one. But no, you were saying Van Dijk, in Sharon's pedigree. I mean, he's the last of the Shamadals, isn't he? Is he by Shamadal?
He is by Shamadal, and a daughter of Ream 3.
Yeah,
So
he ran a very good race in the Guineas, and he slaughtered them at Haydock, didn't he? But I'd say Van Dijk for me will bounce back. He was an exceptional 2-year-old. He looked very, very tired at Haydock. His legs looked like they were tied together as he crossed the line. Big horse, grown a lot. I see him a lot. Monster of a horse, definitely trained on. And for me, I would fancy him to bounce back to his best.
And that's the thing, is that they can take a massive, big move forward. Okay, John, if you were given a free one here, who would it be?
Might supplement a horse.
Oh, go on.
No, I'd go back to the Haydock winner.
In Sharon.
I would, yeah. Look, I like Van Dijk a lot, and he's a fabulous horse, and he handled deep ground in Deauville, make nothing wrong. But things changed from 2 to 3, and I thought that was mighty impressive, that horse at Haydock.
Are you actually going to supplement one here?
There's a possibility.
Go on, who is it?
We can't even confirm.
I've written about 45 names down on a piece of paper, which I've now lost.
The horse
So I
who
can't
finished
even-
second to him.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah.
There's a possibility.
The acclamation.
One word,
Yes,
and
there's
those
a
names.
possibility. On.
Orn, that's it,
There's a
Orn.
possibility.
He's
No, I
done.
thought it was a proper race. I'm sure the third will come on a lot, but will it be enough to collar the winner? And that's the form line I'm looking at.
Is it? Would you supplement on the basis of the fact that you were in the mix with
Probably
these,
on that basis,
or are you
but,
supplementing on the
trouble is,
basis
remember,
that
if they get 25 runners or something, the draw. Never forget the draw.
somebody just ringing up for the 66s for work obviously well, and obviously obviously
He's a
bouncing.
grand horse. He may well be supplemented.
Okay, and that's not an owner-driven thing. That's because you want to do it.
I rest my case.
Okay, fine. He got in Spiral in the Prince of Wales. That's all you need to know. Should we talk about the Jubilee now? The Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee, which is our concluding Group 1 on Saturday. I'm well to time here, by the way. This was a 7 to 8 job, and it's 25 to 8.
Not. They need another drink and somewhere to sit down.
You fill Mr. Gosden's glass again, please. Charge his glass.
No, they're doing very well, but they're going to.
Charles?
They've been around the farm since mid-afternoon.
Talk to me about the QE2 Jubilee.
Talked about my horse in particular. Is that where we're going
Yeah, we
here?
need to talk about this horse. Yeah.
We do, because you're running the Wizard of Eye here,
Yeah.
and not in the handicap in the Wokingham. Now,
Yeah.
I watched him in all sorts of places as a 3-year-old with Stanmore and thought this is a massive talent. I'm just not quite sure what the key to him is. You've had him a little while. Have you worked it out?
Well, he won the Victoria Cup
Very, very well.
So-
with a beautiful ride from Tom Mark.
with a cracking ride from Tom. He is exceptionally talented. I haven't had a horse do what he's been doing in the mornings for a while. I'm convinced he has enough speed to drop back to 6, and a track like Ascot, I think, really suits him because he's likes things happening on his own terms. He doesn't like to be bullied early on, and you can do that at Ascot, especially on that straight track. I also don't think it's the strongest edition of the Diamond Jubilee.
It's not. Well, it's not.
Kinross is a star, but 6 furlong Group 1
First
on
time
decent
out,
ground,
getting
first
older.
time out. Millstream won a Duke of York where they all finished in a heap.
Messy old race.
Yeah, Shartash has won a listed race. Mitbar, he's a nice horse, won a Group 2 over in Ireland.
Quite like him.
Like him. But I'd be pretty happy with my horse.
I'm getting good vibes here.
I'd be pretty happy with
Are
it.
you getting
I will
good
know
vibes?
more
'Cause I'm
tomorrow
getting
morning.
Good vibes.
Is he working tomorrow?
He's going to work tomorrow
What
morning.
Would you let everyone know?
Absolutely.
Because they're
What
already
time?
getting on.
What
The
time?
only spanner in the works is I found out today that it looks like Tom Marquand is not going to be free to ride him.
So who's he riding then?
I think he's going to be required for Montasib.
Oh,
William
for William
Haggis's
Haggis,
horse.
yeah.
So who are the? Because I know you go to Jamie, but he'll ride Mitbar here.
No, Jamie not available. So a few
don't you-
spanners in the
Frankie-
works.
Hang on, don't
Frankie
you like
might
the
take
shoe?
his
Isn't
tail
the
off.
shoe your
Frankie-
man?
Few spanners in the works.
What about the shoe?
I haven't decided.
John, you haven't got one to supplement.
Do the owners take a view?
That we'll have a conversation and we'll see.
They take a view.
There's a few decent jockeys, let's say, that don't have rides in the race.
All right.
Not sure Ryan's got a ride. Don't think Oisin's got a ride.
Oh, you're
Oh,
not
you're
sure. Not
really
exactly sure of
struggling.
options.
So
are you?
how are you
we've
gonna
got
deal
some
with that
nice
problem?
options.
Yeah. You're
We've
going
got
to
some
be
nice
fine.
options. Kieran's not got a ride, so
You got lots of soft chaps.
George, you know Charlie better than all of us. He likes this, doesn't he?
The idea of being able to pick.
Well, the idea of being able to pick and the horse.
Oh, the horse. Yeah, no. Actually, to give him his due, normally he's the most appalling tipster. But he was very strong on the Wizard of Eye before the Victoria Cup. I mean, as strong as you could be without sounding like a madman. You know, he was, and he said he does like the horse, and he's probably right to. This race looks
Lest
so
you think
big.
I've forgotten about dear Isle of Jura, the
Oh,
horse
yeah.
that is the like a walking sandwich board for your training career. You should march him. Well, you can't really, can you? I was going to suggest you march him up and down Newmarket High Street with "I am trained by George Scott. Look what I've done" written on him. But is he done yet, or could he actually go and win the Hardwick?
Well, I've been meaning to ask John what he's going to run, because John does hold some of the keys to the race, and you've got Emily and that lovely, is he a Roaring Lion horse? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Is
Middle
it
Earth.
Middle Earth.
and
Middle
Emily
Earth and the
Aljonarin.
rest will be left in.
Middle Earth and the
Those
rest.
two,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Aidan said in the paper he was going to run continuous, and I imagine he probably will, but he did.
You might, and use something else for the pace.
Yeah, maybe use the other horse. Yeah, no, Isle of Jura is obviously the apple of my eye, and he's an incredibly well-bred horse and has a will to win. He's won 7 of his last 9 races and goes in. He's about 10-1 for the race, I think. We're very pleased with him, and as you say, he's been a massive help to us, to be honest.
He's not done yet, is he?
No, he's a baby, really. You know, it's only a year ago we bought him when he'd finished mid-div in a Wolverhampton maiden just over a year ago, and he started life off 70. He's rated 112 now, and he's bred to be a very good horse. His 8-year-old brother won a Group 1 in Australia this year. He's won $7 million, and his other brother's a Group 1 winner. So that's the big factor, I think, with him.
Fingers crossed. And John, you mentioned a Rest who's who was good
he'd
horse
be there.
last year.
He wouldn't want-
Middle Earth's a proper horse.
Middle Earth's proper. He won
Yeah.
very well at Newbury. Rest wouldn't want the ground drying up too much. Continuous is in at 9-4, I see. I never really look at the betting. So I'm sure you're right. He will be going there and not elsewhere. And he was impressive, though.
Rebel Romance won't run.
No. The race will open up. Nothing like checking the confirmation.
This is
It
going
does
to
change the market.
There's going to be a royal winner here. Desert Hero is going to win this for Resurgent Desert Hero for William Haggis. I think. Yeah, he ran terribly last time. Horses were under a cloud. I think he's going to bounce right back. He runs a Brigadier Gerald run.
He really likes the track. Yeah.
Super run last year. Now, before we wrap all this up, I want a 2-year-old from everybody. So Ingot for you in the Coventry, John.
Yes. It's the only 2-year-old we're running in the meeting, so that wasn't difficult.
If you could have somebody else's 2-year-old, who
No,
would you
I
like?
never look at other people's horses. Never envy other people's.
I'm not asking you to covet. I'm just asking.
No,
you
I'm
to-
not coveting.
to
I
pick.
don't. I wouldn't even know. who
Right,
they
George
are.
Scott will. He'll know. He'll have it.
These
He's
guys
been
have got
running
the right
2-year-olds
guys, they're on
again.
the
He's
ball.
been
I'm
running
just
2-year-olds against all these horses all year.
No. I mean, I go for Fairy Godmother in the Albany. I think she clocked an unbelievable number, and she looked like she was just learning about life, and looked a very attractive filly on TV. And I think that she'd be the 2-year-old that I would be selecting for the week.
Charlie.
I'm going to give you two,
Yes.
if that's all right.
Yes.
A horse called Sounds Like a Plan.
Ooh. Okay. Remind me.
Won a maiden very impressively over in Ireland. Beat a horse of Aiden's that's since gone and won pretty nicely and goes to Royal Ascot, I think, for one of the different races. He's in the Coventry at 20-1. He hosed up in Ireland. Really a proper run.
I
can't believe the price is, to be honest with you. And I'm going to just put up a little horse of Archie Watson's called Electrolyte.
Another Wathan
Beat
horse.
a horse of mine up at Ayr. I thought I was going up to Ayr for a nice penalty kick, and I got beaten by one of Archie's that cost a load at the breeze ups. I'd heard beforehand that it was his favourite of his 2-year-olds. Archie's pretty good record with 2-year-olds at the meeting, so I think he's interesting at a very big price, 33-1.
So the good thing about being brisk and pushing through all the Group 1s nice and quickly here is that John's escaped any of the sneaky ones in the handicaps, but now is your chance, just for the benefit of this little room here, this small room here at Newsells Park, this beautiful room in Newsells
What you
Park.
don't understand, I was talking to Sir Mark Prescott this morning. He said, if you're too sneaky, you get balloted. You don't even get in.
Yeah,
and the
course,
days
especially
when
this
you
year.
could sort of slip in and win the Britannia off 81, which I've done twice, you can't do that anymore. So now they have to be what we call rather exposed horses to even get in the race.
Okay.
So we can't be sneaky anymore, I'm afraid.
Who's the least exposed?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Come on, you got to give us.
No, I wouldn't possibly till I sit down and see the races.
All right, but what about horses that we've not talked about that are exciting you, or at least getting your blood pumping? Who are you going to run in the
Been
Ribblesdale?
around too long.
Who are you going to be running in the
Be
Ribblesdale?
excited.
Because you had about
I'm
15
running a
entered in
filly
that.
called Danielle,
Yeah.
and probably Queen's Ford.
Do you like
And
that,
Danielle's
Danielle? She
in
didn't
very
have all the
good
track at
form, but
Lingfield.
she needs juice in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's a half to Courage Mon Ami, isn't she?
Yeah, but we're taking on a Newsells filly,
Yeah.
who happened to win the race we were third in. So the form would say we're.
Where is Graeme? Is Graeme still here?
There he is.
Graeme, come back to us.
He's in the
Come back as we
Ribblesdale.
round this off, because you might be in the Ribblesdale with You've Got to Me.
I've had a couple of drinks since.
Good man. Graeme co-owns You Got to Me with Valmont.
Yes.
And she ran a fine race, finishing fourth in the Oaks, quite
She did.
prominently ridden. Do you want to run her in the Ribblesdale?
We'd like to run it in every race, but that's not really practical. I think there's a bigger gap, isn't there now, between
20
the
days between the
20 days.
races,
We'll wait and see. We're not asking any questions of Rafe to pushing him in any direction. And of course, we own 50% of the horse, so. But it'll be lovely. I mean, nothing like having a Royal Ascot winner, is there?
You've got sporting stars in the room as well on the eve of Royal Ascot. Just tell us who's here with us tonight, Graeme.
So we're delighted to have Alan Brazil here tonight.
Yay!
We might have some guys, and of course, a very good friend of mine, the legend of Argentina and Tottenham Hotspur, Ozzy Ardiles. Is here. Chris Houghton, right back at Spurs, and the legendary Paul Miller. Yeah, kneecaps. Yes, we've got 4 legends from football, and of course we've got the Euros coming up. Starting on Saturday, is it, or is it Friday? Saturday. So
I'm the worst person to pose questions about the Euros, but I know the right man who might be. Alan Brazil, sir, can you come and join me?
Yep.
And Oh my word.
I think you need to drink.
Alan to take on the Serbian.
We do.
Alan, do you need a drink, Alan?
Did you just ask Alan Brazil if he needed a drink?
Well, I thought he hadn't got.
Graeme. Enjoyed that. Very good, Charles.
Hi, Alan. Lovely to see you.
Hi.
Are you first of all, are you looking to forward to Royal Ascot, and have you got some ideas of some winners for us?
Well, it depends on the weather, I suppose. You know, the weather's been abysmal, hasn't it? And I don't know what's in store over the weekend. I know in Suffolk here, or Cambridge or Suffolk, it's going to be very wet. Ascot may miss it, may not. So, listen, I've been listening to the experts today, or tonight. So, as far as I'm concerned, I've made a few little notes.
He's keeping his powder dry.
I actually think if you'd been here tonight, you'd have done all right. You'd put yourself in some nice positions anyway.
Oh no, absolutely.
win or not.
But I found it very interesting. Really, really enjoyed it, to be honest. And I think everyone chuckling and laughing, they were enjoying it as well.
Can I tell you a story? There was a charity match once, 20 years ago. And this great man was centre forward, and guess who was the goalkeeper against him? Me. You know what the score was at half time? 10-0. Guess who they took off? They took him off because they could. And I still stayed in. I only let in 2 more after he left.
Those were great nights.
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
It
was a charity game.
Nah, it was great. It was a
So
few
here
years
he
ago.
comes again. I said, which way is he going to put it? I always got it
It was
wrong.
a few years ago, wasn't
It was. Well, yes, it was a few years. We were a bit lighter then.
I know this is a Royal Ascot preview, but I mean, you can just give everyone quickly the euro value while you're here.
Yeah, the Euros, I think it's open. You know, the bookmakers will tell you it's France, England, France, and then Germany. Germany are very tight in the betting as well. I'm not sure 9-2 is what it'd take for the host nation, but, you know, Germany's Germany. You know, they'll get better as the tournament goes on. I fear for us tomorrow night, Scotland. We're a good side, and if we get any half chances, we're going to have to take them. You look at Tony Cruz and people like that. They've still got some top players, the Germans. So they'll be there or thereabouts, I'm sure. England, defensively, I was talking to Paul Miller, Chrissy Houghton earlier. Aussie, of course, he knows nothing about defending, but the other two are fantastic.
Aussie, come and have a quick word with us, because it's not every day I can say.
That's the problem England have, is
not
defensively.
Every day I can say Aussie Ardiles.
Yeah, World Cup winner.
Newsells Park, welcome to the Nick Luck Daily podcast. And Chris and Paul as well. Very nice to see you. Good to see you.
Why don't we let the footballers in?
Welcome.
Well, enjoyed that, guys.
Al, I'm letting you take over for 5 minutes. I'm going for a drink.
Go and have a drink. Aussie's here more than Graeme, by the way, this beautiful place.
Is that yours, Aussie, sir?
Gee, we won't. I know people are dying for a drink, so Aussie, what do you think? England, can they win it at long last in 66? A long time now, isn't it?
No, bollocks. They're not.
Hear that?
Oh, it's working this.
It's on, Aussie,
Hopefully
don't
not.
worry.
No, I mean, you had to put my money. I mean, you mentioned it. England is the number one candidate, quite rightly.
Favourite,
and I
favourite.
was favorite, that's right. France, number one. Number second, yes, fine. Personally, I will put my money in Germany. Germany are always difficult. They are playing at home as well, so they will be my bet.
Yeah. Chrissy Houghton, of course, fantastic defender, Spurs, managed, coached international level. Chrissy, what everyone keeps talking about
389 games for Spurs. See, I did my research.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How many for Ireland?
Oh, now you've got me,
No.
Chris, to be fair.
So, Chris, in terms of England's Achilles heel, everyone seems to say defensively. John Stones, I believe, trained today after a virus, but still, that's maybe where England are slightly doubtful. Midfield to up front, very, very good. So what does Gareth do? Is he got to be overcautious? We know he's cautious anyway, but will he be overcautious because he's not sure about the back?
No, I think what he will do, he'll look at the sum of the team, and for an England team at the moment that potentially might not be as strong in defence as what they've been, it's no different to any other country, and I guarantee you, every other country's press will be speaking about areas of the team that perhaps they were stronger before. It's a little bit of a weakness. This is their strength. But the facts are is that if you look at the England squad as a whole, it's a wonderful squad and arguably as good a squad as the team have ever had.
Yeah.
So that puts them up.
Not as good as Argentina.
This is the European Championships, you too.
I was going to say that, but it would be no different to any other association.
Is this like when they let Australia into the Eurovision or something?
I know.
Argentina into the Euro.
Ridiculous. Paul Miller, Paul was a tough defender. I'd give him about 4 minutes in today's game before the red card came out. It's changed a lot, Maxie, hasn't it? How do you see England at the back? Stone's got to play. Has he got to be in there?
Yeah, he'll play. I'm not bad. He's sure he'll play in the second game. I think he'll miss the first game. I think the big loss is going to be Maguire. Maguire is terrific in the air, and in today's game, a lot of players don't want to head the ball anymore. You see, under 12, it's already banned, But Maguire in both boxes, like Harry Kane, he's terrific in the box, and I think we're going to miss Maguire defensively and attacking wise, heading wise. Okay, he ain't the best.
That's a lot of rubbish anyway.
It's nothing to do with you. You're Argentinian, by the way. This is the Euros. So I think we got to fill that other centre half spot. We've got to fill the other centre half spot, and we'll be okay. I've got no problems with midfield and strike. I think we've got some of the best in the world. It's certainly in midfield and attacking wise, but I think we're defensively a little bit worried. I agree with Aussie. Germany are massive. I think Spain have got a good chance.
Portugal,
as well.
we shouldn't forget Portugal. Ronaldo again. He is an amazing guy, isn't he?
It continues to and everybody speaks about when you speak about Portugal, about Ronaldo, but it's a strong squad. Yes. Also, they have players playing at the best clubs in Europe, and so I think it's going to be an outstanding championship. So I
but
really
the French, when you look at the French side, their squad is the fella at Arsenal centre back can't get in the team. Yeah. That shows you Saliba. It just shows you how good the French are, and of course Mbappe, for me, is just wonderful. He is a superstar for me. He really is. So take nothing. And it looks as if things go to plan, that the semi-final could be France against England. So that could determine who goes on to lift the trophy.
In which case, Alan, just having a look at the outright odds at the moment, you're basically talking about 4-1 joints, England and France.
Yes.
Best price. Germany 11-2, Portugal 7-1, 9 Spain, 18 Italy, 18 Holland, and 20s Bar. If England and France are going to meet each other in the semis, surely there's got to be value here somewhere. Where is it?
Well, probably Germany.
11-2.
11-2 is good. I think the Germans. You know what the Germans are like. They're proud people, and it's home soil. They will be tough to beat. Listen, I'd love Scotland to get a point tomorrow night, but they need to go down with COVID, the Germans, for us to get anything. Sorry. I really think it's going to be tough. I think we'll battle well. We've got a good side. We're organised, but we can't score goals, So it's always been the problem with Scotland.
Another bullshit comment. I mean, Scotland cannot possibly be there. So, if you ask me, Germany, definitely. 100% is going to be one of the big. I mean, if I had to put my money, I would put for Germany.
So you say they'll definitely make the final, Germany?
Well, yes. And they're Germany. I mean, when I was playing football, the country I hated to play against was Germany because they were so tough.
Did you say the country you hated playing against was Germany?
No. I mean, footballistically.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking in football, yes?
We don't like the Germans anyway, Ozzy. We was at war with them, yeah?
No. You might be in war.
Actually, we have some German breeders in the room.
They bombed my nan's house,
What I meant when you play.
I'm presuming there's an editing facility on this podcast.
I don't think there is, to be honest. I don't think
No. When I was playing against Germany, I mean, for example, I make a German person, so I go through and so on. Somehow he was next to me again. Not to mention the film, Escape to Victory. I play against the bloody Germans there, and that was tough.
Ozzy,
you don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm laughing along, Ozzy, don't worry.
That was a Hollywood film, right?
I remember, don't worry.
No, on a serious note, listen, I think it's very open, but France, I still think France, I personally make France the favourites. I do.
France and England.
They're so
And-
strong.
No, but I think for what Ozzy's saying is right. And every country have had their periods where the Dutch were incredibly strong. We know the Spanish had that.
Well, they're a
period.
young side, the Spanish.
Germany playing at home. But I still think that England and France
Just
are
for
the
from a
favourites.
betting purpose, Serbia are a very, very big, strong, tall side. And that will be winning Gareth set pieces against England. So I can see Serbia scoring. I think England will beat them, but I think set pieces Serbia are a danger. And when it was the old Yugoslavia, they had some great number 10s. Wow. They're decent. I think they're ranked 33 in the world, so England should see them off. But it's the opening game of a World Cup. There will be nerves. And if they get, Euros. And it will be, they'll take every opportunity to load that box when they get corners and free kicks. So I think they might score.
13-2 for what? To beat England. And about 100
And the draw, in case Gareth's got the handbrake on again, what's the draw? Right, there you go. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. But very open, I think.
This is as much as I can paddle out of my depth and get away with it. So, gentlemen, thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Paul Miller, Chris Houghton, the great Aussie Ardiles, and the wonderful Alan Brazil, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
And it's a joy to be here, by the way.
Isn't it?
It really
Isn't
is.
it?
I came up, I don't know if you're still filming. I came up, I brought a couple of clients behind us. We passed the mares and foals. Absolute joy.
That brings us to the end of this part of the evening. Continue enjoy. I just want to thank Graeme and Marcelo once again and their whole family for having us here at Newsells Park this evening. To Julian and Gary and all their team for all their hard work. Will, Balthazar, Bobby, Thomas, everybody at Fitzdares for all your support of this evening. And we will see you again next time. Thank you very much. Good night.